Candace's house had burned down a few days before. Although she and her family were all fine and were taken in by her longtime friend Samantha, an unshakable guilt was consuming Candace, who blamed the incident as punishment for her sins. No amount of persuasion and assurance from Samantha had Candace see otherwise. So Samantha sought recommendations from other friends for a good psychologist. When Samantha did find one, she asked her friend to join her for a ride, which the unlucky woman agreed. Candace was shocked to find both sitting in the reception area of the office of therapist, but resigned herself talking through this. The psychologist called Candace and Samantha to her office and asked the aggrieved friend the reason for her visit. "You see, I believe in karma," Candace began, "and retribution. Once upon a time, I denied a friend money. In my defense, I can say that she then found the money and bought herself a house. But my sin of greed haunts me, and now I have lost my home. But that unpleasant act does not let go of me." The psychologist suggested that with such problems, Candace should go to church. "You know, I was there," Candace said. "I asked for forgiveness, and I was absolved of my sin. But apparently, I didn't believe enough, and that forgiveness didn't help." The psychologist smiled and replied that maybe she knew how to annul this sin. But before that, she asked Samantha if such sins have ever hindered her. "Oh, what are you?" Samantha laughed. "All my sins are very small, so they do not interfere with my life at all. Maybe I sometimes envy a new bag or overeat at night, but that's trivial." The psychologist nodded and suggested Candace to do a little exercise. "Go to the park behind my office and bring me the biggest stone that you think looks like your sin." The psychologist then turned to Samantha and instructed her to gather some small stones that Samantha thought were like her sins. Both women, though dumbfounded by the task, set out to complete it. A half-hour later, both returned, with Candace struggling to carry a large stone and Samantha juggling a handful of smaller stones. "Wonderful," the psychologist responded upon seeing them. "Now let's go and put them back in place," she said. The women looked at each other in horror, and the three set out again for the park, Candace this time dragging her rock. With ease, Candace found the place from which she grabbed her stone. She lowered it into its former place. Samantha was confused. She collected her pebbles from all over the park and couldn't for the life of her pinpoint from where she pulled any of them. The psychologist smiled. "The same thing happens with your sins. You easily put a large and heavy stone in its original place because you remembered where you got it from. You have remembered your sin. You have been punished by your own conscience. You have repented, and therefore you are already free from it. You paid in full. We are all sinners, but the one who repents is right." Unfortunately, the psychologist continued, turning to Samantha, You do not remember your sins. You think of them as not important, much like these small stones. And that's not right either. I have given assignments to both of you not to show that which of you is better, but only to make you understand. We are all human beings, and anything can happen in our lives. But you need to be able to absolve your sins and ask for forgiveness. Be able to forgive yourself, but also do not forget to correct your mistakes. Constantly punishing yourself is as bad as living without noticing your bad deeds. Live in harmony with your soul.